Welcome to the Private Practice with Soul podcast. My name is Dr. Storme, and I help private practice owners align their business back with their soul's calling, with their big vision and with their soul's purpose. Unlike other private practice coaches, I've traveled the world in search of spiritual resources, spiritual tools, education and information so that you can have the transformation that your soul desires and needs so that you can up-level your business. How much fun is this? I love it so much. Guys, if you're not already a member of the Private Practice Monthly Mentorship Group, please check out the show notes. I would love for you to be there. In the meantime, thank you so much for pushing play today. Let's begin. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Private Practice with Soul podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Storme, and I want to say thank you very much for pushing play on another episode. Thank you very much for your loyalty to this show, and welcome to all of the new subscribers. How are you going? How has your week been? Did you have a really big week? My week was huge too, and it might have had something to do with the moon cycles. I think actually it did have a lot to do with the moon cycles, but it was one of those weeks, you know, where your diary is just kind of bursting at the seams and you're trying really hard to find that balance between working in and on the business. So that's kind of where I was. If you can hear pitter patter, that's just Gabe. He's coming in to join us, I think, for the recording. Yep, here he is. Okay. And so, this morning I was doing my meditation straight after breakfast, and I was asking, what did everybody really need some support around today, and how could I be of highest service? And what came through was to give you some support with things like managing the cost of doing business in private practice. And for that, I'm really thinking about anything here. It can be from buying equipment to paying for ads on Facebook to investing in supervision and coaching to investing in a website. A general cost of business, because this is a big hiccup that a lot of women who are running their private practices experience from time to time. And I think too, even I have noticed it over the last few weeks. So as you know, I jump on calls with women all the time, and they initiate the calls, which is beautiful. And they tell me all about where they're at in their practice or where they're at in their business. And we talk about what their blocks are, and I give them some support and guidance on the call. And they really love that. And then they say, oh, I really, really want to work with you. And I say, oh, wonderful. I want to work with you too. We're a good fit. And then we talk about the investment, and then it's like, boom, there's not even a discussion. A lot of the time the women will just go, nope, out of my range. I can't afford that. And, they just want to shut things down right there. So I thought it might be helpful to help you unpack that a little bit. It doesn't happen all the time, but it happens to all of us. And look, it even happened to me when, I was investing in a supervisor, and when I was investing in a coach, and recently with investing in a mastermind. Like, sometimes you hear the dollar amount and you just think, oh, yikes. But I think for some of us, the default is to just put the wall up and shut down. And we'll say things like, oh, it's too expensive, or I'll find a cheap supervisor. Like, so many women have said to me, oh, it's okay. Thanks so much for your time today. I think I'll go and find a cheap supervisor. And I just feel so bad for those women, because they're denying themselves the opportunity to get the help that they wanted. I mean, if they didn't want my help, they wouldn't have booked a call with me. And so I feel bad for them that they're not getting to back themselves. But I also feel bad for the supervisor that ends up working with them, because it's just not nice energy. Like, how would you feel knowing somebody booked in with you because you were free or because you were the cheapest one? I mean, it's just not nice, is it? So I thought today what I could do is support you by going into, and I know you're going to love this, the masculine and the feminine energy, because that's my thing. I love it so much. And let's have a look at the masculine and feminine energy as a framework to support you in understanding what you're bringing to investing in your business. And from there, maybe you can even create an action step for yourself at the end of the show. So, sound good? Good. Okay, let's get on with it. So, I've broken things down into the 4 categories here. So we have the sacred feminine, the sacred masculine, the shadow feminine, and the shadow masculine. And what I'm going to do is just talk you through each one of those categories, and hopefully by the end, you'll be able to identify which category you sit in when it comes to making any sort of investment for your private practice. And from there, as I said, hopefully you'll have some insight and you'll know what the next step for you would be. And of course, we can talk about that too, but let's just go over it first. So in no particular order, and I'm not going to tell you what the categories are. I'm going to let you figure them out for yourself. So the first category, okay, let's say you really want to invest in something for your practice. You find out what the price is. Everything else is fine, okay? You find out what the price is. And then you say this to yourself: oh no, this feels really unsafe to me. The anxiety is coming, or I don't like this. Maybe I'm not ready for this yet. It feels really risky. I think I just want to really stay where I am now. I think I'm just gonna wait until all my ducks are in a row. I think, this is something that I might want to do maybe in 6 months or 12 months. You might say to yourself, oh, what if it doesn't work? What will my partner say about me spending this money? Will I get my money back? Will this approach support me, and will it really land for me, and will I really get results from this? Oh my gosh, I will never be able to get the help I need because I just can't afford it. I'm doomed. Nobody's ever going to be able to help me. I'm just going to have to go through this alone and do it tough. And do it totally on my own without any help whatsoever. I think I'm just going to rely on all the free stuff that I can get, because that's all I can afford, and that's all I'm going to be able to afford for a while, perhaps. So I guess that's just where I am, and I'm just going to be one of those. Everybody else can go and afford a supervisor or a coach or to recruit or run Facebook ads, but that's never going to be me. That's just too far out of my range. That's the first category. Any of that sound like you? Okay, let's move on to the second category. Oh my gosh, this sounds perfect for me, and I know that I'm going to benefit so much from this because I'm finally going to have somebody to work with me one-on-one. I'm finally going to be seen. I'm finally going to be heard. I'm finally going to get that support that my practice needs. Finally, at last, this is just what I needed, and I know this is going to be fantastic because I grow through deep relationships, and I grow through rapport, and I grow through connection. When somebody gets to spend time with me and they're invested in knowing who I am as a woman in private practice, and they get to know who I am as a mum, as a friend, as a boss, as a practice owner, and they get to know me with all my different hats, that's when they're best able to help me. And nobody really knows me yet. I'm in all of these free groups and I get this help and it's great, but it's not individualized. And I just know that when I get a deeper relationship with a mentor, that's when the growth happens for me. And I'm really excited about that. I'm really excited about playing in the energy of what's possible for me. Wow. And to have somebody support me in that and provide me with that safety net to catch me if I fall, and somebody to help me see what the lessons are, somebody to help see the progress that I make even when I don't see it myself, somebody to hear the stories that I'm telling myself even when I don't hear them myself, because perhaps they're on autopilot and I'm just not even tuned into what I'm telling myself anymore. I could really grow from that, and oh wow, I could really, really learn from that. And I think being in a space where someone can sit with me and get to know me is really going to open me up to being more creative as well. And when I'm more creative, I know I solve problems differently, and I know I bring a new energy, and I know when I have a deeper one-to-one relationship with someone and I feel seen and heard and loved, that sparks some kind of radiance within me. And when I am feeling that radiance, I know that's when I attract more clients to my private practice. I am ready to receive support. I'm ready to allow myself to be supported. And in fact, I'm looking forward to being supported. I'm done with doing it all on my own. I am excited about having someone to lean on. I'm excited about the thought of somebody giving me the structure, the frameworks, the processes, so I don't have to think about them. It's just taken off my plate. They do all of that for me or support me in doing it for myself, so that then I can feel more relaxed and calm and free doing all of the beautiful creative things that I really, 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 really want to be doing for my practice. Okay, that's category 2. Does that resonate with you? Is that where you are, or is that where you want to be? Just think about that. And now category 3. This is what you might say to yourself if you're in this category. No, you're not doing it. You can't afford it. You can you can get this cheaper elsewhere, right? Why would I pay you this much money when I can just go and get it somewhere else for half of that? Like, that doesn't make any sense to me. So no, I'm not going to pay you that much money. I can't afford that. That's not going to happen for me. I can't believe supervisors charge this much for supervision. I can't believe coaches charge this much for coaching. I can't believe Facebook take this much money off you for ads. I can't believe it costs this much for a web designer to create your website, and then half the time it doesn't even work. I just can't believe the prices that people charge for things. You can absolutely get it cheaper somewhere else. What else have I written down here? How dare they? Who do they think they are? What else? Do you know what? I'm going to do it when I can afford it. I'm just going to wait, and I'm going to shop around, and I'm going to comparison check, and I'm just going to find the cheapest one, and I'm just going to go with that. Who do these people think they are? So this energy that I'm talking about with you now is about avoiding things, right? Saying, I'm going to do it later. This isn't fair. This is unjust. You shouldn't be charging this much money to new grads. You shouldn't be charging this much money to full stop. This is so expensive. So it's avoidant behavior, and it's almost kind of abusive behavior. What gives you the right? You've only got a diploma of counseling. Why should you be charging the same as, a social worker or a psychologist for counseling? What gives you that right? What gives you that right to charge me that for supervision? Or what gives you the right to charge me that for my Facebook ads? So it's that kind of almost abuse, that judgment, that real judgment, controlling, aggressive almost, going around and telling everybody else, oh my gosh, can you believe this is how much they wanted to charge me? That's the energy for category 3. So think about you. And I know I was being a bit aggressive there, but I was trying to embody that energy for you. But you get the general idea of that energy there for category 3. And then the last category, category 4. This is the energy of category 4. Okay, you ready? Category 4 says, all right, I know I need this. I know I've hit my limit, or I know I've hit my ceiling in terms of my progress with the business, or with, my fees, or my money mindset, or something like that. And I'm aware that I can't go any further because I just don't have the knowledge or the skills yet. So I know I need to do something. This energy says, how can I take that next step? How can I find the money so that I can get the help I need to do the things I want to do for my business, or improve my website, or run the Facebook ads, or update my Google, or build a new business cards out, or something like that. This energy says, why is it important that I do this now? It's really important that I do this now because it aligns with my values of reaching more people, of helping more people, of doing my soul's work. That's why I should be doing this now. This energy says, what would be the value to my business of investing in this? What is my business going to get out of this? What are the results at the end that we're shooting for here? Is somebody going to help me achieve goals? Is somebody going to keep me accountable? Can somebody give me a roadmap, a blueprint, that missing piece of the puzzle that I just can't see for looking? Is she going to be able to give me that so that I can achieve what I want with my business, or my lifestyle, or my income, or whatever it is that you're working on? This type of energy says, and what's going to be the cost of me not investing in the business right now? What's going to happen to my practice if I don't get help right now? Will I still be where I am? In 12 months' time, will I not have made any progress? Or would it be worse? Would I have maybe shut my doors? What would my financial situation be if I don't get this new knowledge, or if I don't get this new support, or if I don't get this Facebook ad going, or if I don't improve the website, whatever the cost is that you're looking at for your practice? What's the cost to the practice going to be if I don't make a decision and get the help now? And this energy sees opportunities. This energy says, great, I'm going to walk away knowing X, Y, Z, being able to do A, B, C, and this is going to benefit my practice like this. And this energy says, okay, this is how much it's going to cost. Fine. What do I need to do to get that money? How am I going to get that money? And that energy looks at resourcefulness. Okay. So they're the 4 types of energies. Now, would you like to know what they were? I bet you do. And you know what? I bet as well, you probably identified mostly with one area, but maybe 2, you also picked up on a couple of things from the other areas as well. And that's okay, because energy's fluid, right? It's always moving, it's always shifting and always changing. It's like water or air. It doesn't have a beginning and an end. But what we're doing here is just trying to identify the energy you tend to sit in most frequently when you're faced with a financial decision for your business. So the first category was the shadow feminine. Now, the shadow feminine is all about being, I don't want to be seen. I don't want to be heard. What if someone judges me? What if they tell me I'm doing it wrong? I don't know what it's going to be like when I succeed. And that's really scary for me. So I think I'm just going to stay here where I'm not succeeding. And although it's not a great space for me to be in, it's predictable and therefore it feels safe. Like I kind of know how this is all going, and I know it's not what I want, but it's familiar, and so I'm happy to stay here at the moment. And this shadow feminine energy also has a little bit of a victim mindset, feeling like, she's never going to be able to get the things that she really wants because of some external reason, right? It's the money, or it's an expensive Facebook ad specialist, or it's an expensive web person. And do you know what? This energy here is probably never going to be satisfied with things, because, they'll go and find the cheapest website person, and then they're not going to be happy with the website, and then they'll be complaining again. Just that energy, being stuck in that. The second category was the sacred feminine. So the sacred feminine is all about expansion through relationships, expansion through one-on-one relationships, through being seen, being heard, and being supported, because there's now a structure and a framework in place. The sacred feminine does really well in one-to-one services like supervision or coaching, where all of a sudden they're not responsible for everything anymore. It kind of gives them a breather. They've got somebody to lean on that's going to take that pressure off them, somebody that's going to say, yes, you're on the right path, no, you're not, and here's what we can do to get you back on it. Give them all that structure, all that framework, so that then they can just relax and release into being that beautiful sacred feminine energy that they want to be for the work that they're doing. They can be more present when they're working with their clients, because they're not worried about what they're doing right or wrong, or money or anything like that. So that's the sacred feminine energy category 2. Category 3 was the shadow masculine. So the shadow masculine energy is really manipulative. It's really bitter, controlling, aggressive, nasty, mean, avoidant, judgmental, all of those sorts of things. And so you heard that come out in the energy there. And sometimes people stay in that shadow masculine energy because they just, again, it's perhaps familiar to them, or it feels good to be in that space for them. And that's okay, but it's not going to help the practice, obviously. And then the fourth category was the sacred masculine. And the sacred masculine, as you can see, is less about relationships, right? Remember, sacred feminine is about relationships, being seen, being heard, love, kindness, compassion, nurturing, receiving, allowing, all of those sorts of beautiful things. But the masculine is more about structure, framework, goals, results, KPIs, being driven, being motivated, all those sorts of things. And the sacred masculine is a problem solver. So the sacred masculine is going to say, okay, fine, this is how much it's going to cost. I know that now. Right, how do I make this happen? What do I need to do? Do I need to, problem solve by raising a fee over here, introducing a new service over there? Do I need to revisit my booking things? How do I make this work? Can I speak to them about a payment plan so I don't have to cough it all up front? So the sacred masculine works really, 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 really well for a private practice. First of all, I think that's where you need to be, first of all, because without those structures in place, and without that focus on how can I create change for my business, how can I get those results, you won't have a business. Okay. If you're mostly in your feminine, whether it's sacred or shadow, you're never going to get things done, because there isn't structural framework there. If you're somebody who just flies by the seat of her pants in private practice and you get distracted really easily, you've got multiple tabs open on your computer and you flip from your email to your Zoom, back to the email, over to Facebook, over to, book depository, stuff like that, you're never going to get things finished, and you're always going to feel like you're playing catch up. And that's not where you want to be if you want to hit your practice goals. And you need to have practice goals, because if you're not doing things like increasing your turnover every year, you won't be able to keep up with the cost of doing business, which means you'll start earning less. Do you know what I mean? And when you earn less, you pay yourself less, you put yourself under more stress, it affects your health and things like that. And then that kind of snowballs into things like compassion or compassion fatigue or burnout, and not fantastic. So usually the space that women need to move into, first of all, for their private practice is the sacred masculine. Once that energy is sorted out, then we want to look at integrating that with the sacred feminine. Excuse me, just 1 second. Sorry, it must be something in the air. Just had a sneezing attack. Okay, so think about where you're at. Now, if you're in that shadow feminine space, and and you're bound by fear, you're restricted by fear, and you're saying, oh my gosh, I really want this person's help. I really do, and I really like her, and I really, really want to work with her, but oh my gosh, what if it doesn't work? And I don't know, it's so much. And what about the risk? And the way to move through that, I think, is to look at embodying. I would go straight from shadow feminine over to sacred masculine. And I would say, okay, I would ask myself, even as journal prompts, why is it important that I do update my website? Why is it important that I do invest in Facebook ads? Why is it important that I do get the supervisor that's right for me? Why is it important that I do a coaching program for the practice? And allow yourself to journal on that. And I think even just doing that alone is going to help you start to shift your awareness a little bit. And I would think too, even journaling on, okay, how can I make this a reality for me? And brainstorm some ways, brainstorm some solutions to this investment for your business. And then just sit with it. And as I said, like with the sacred feminine energy, just allow yourself for a moment to play with the energy of what's possible, okay? If you're in the shadow masculine and you're feeling really bitter about it and judgmental and wound up and argumentative and avoidant, and you're saying, oh, I'm going to wait until my ducks are in the row anyway, and I'll do it in 6 months' time when I've got more money, or I'll do it when, you're one of those people in that energy. Again, I would look at something like moving up into that sacred masculine with those same journal prompts, and I would really look also at what's going to be the cost of not getting help for my practice. What's that going to cost my practice if I don't get guidance or support or educational knowledge now? And you know what? This is all really helpful for you to know, because I think when you have time by yourself to just reflect on the energy that you're in, and you know now how to start to shift that energy, I think that's probably one of the best gifts that I can give you on a podcast, because it's powerful stuff. And if you want some guidance or some support navigating some of this, my contact details are always in the show notes, and you're more than welcome to reach out and I can help you process some of this stuff. I guess my goal is to help you have what you call a successful private practice. And I understand we're all in different energy and we all move through the different energies all the time. But if you're aware now that you're sitting in one of those unhealthy shadow energies, and you're open or willing, or you have a level of motivation to explore what it could look like to play in the field of what's possible, but you just want some help with that, reach out and let me know. I'm happy to sit with you and hold that space for you as you unpack it for yourself. It's absolutely my pleasure to do that. But I think you can also use this information in so many other ways for your private practice. And I really hope that what I've shared here today lands for you and makes a lot of sense and helps you be able to access the support that you really truly need for your beautiful soul-led private practice. I'll look forward to catching up with you on Wednesday next week. I hope you have a really beautiful weekend, and I'll talk to you soon. Thank you so much for listening to another episode. Bye. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Private Practice with Soul podcast today. If you're looking for clarity, if you need help with branding, your processes, and bringing everything into alignment with your soul's purpose for your private practice, head to the show notes and click the link for more information about the Private Practice Monthly Mentorship Group. You are going to love it. I can't wait to see you in there. Thanks so much for listening. Bye.